आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। कृष्णो रक्षतु नो जगत्त्रयगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्याम्यहम्। कृष्णे नामरशत्रवो विनिहताः कृष्णाय तस्मै नमः। कृष्णादेव समुत्थितं जगदिदं कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे तिष्ठति विश्वमेतदखिलं हे कृष्ण संरक्ष माम्। प्रिय भगवद बंधुओं, Lord Krishna is the great Acharya. He wanted to inculcate a real knowledge to everyone. He has taken Arjuna as his disciple, though Arjuna was not at all interested as we are. And he started preaching the quintessence of all the Vedas. It's not for the sake of Arjuna, but it is for us. The great Hanuman went to Lanka. He found Sita under a tree. He was sitting on the tree. Ravana came. He started speaking something nonsense. And Hanuman was just listening to a discussion. Sita tried to convince Ravana to surrender to the lotus feet of Rama. She tried time and again, and at the end, Ravana left that place without fulfilling his wish. Whatever Sita preached to Ravana did not make any change in Ravana's mind. But Hanuman got so much out of it. Before listening to Sita Mata, he was telling Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya, like that. But after listening to Sita, he didn't say that. Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmanaha. He changed his voice. Before Sitaji's initiation, he said Ramaya Namaha. But after getting initiation from mother, from divine mother Sita, then he said, I surrender to the lotus feet of Rama, Dasoham Kosalendrasya. The Upadesha given to Ravana gave wonderful fruit to Hanuman, not to Ravana. It's like that. Krishna gave the gist of all the Vedas, though it was to Arjuna, but the enjoyers of that preaching are we beings. It is not Arjuna. We learnt about Arjuna, though he got initiation directly from the great Acharya, Jagadacharya, Lord Krishna, but still everything went into vain. Nothing retained in his brain. After a couple of months, when Lord Krishna asked Arjuna to repeat just one sloka out of the whole preaching, Arjuna totally forgot that. Sloka? What sloka? He forgot everything. It seems Krishna, out of agony, he retold the gist of Gita to Arjuna. But whatever Krishna preached to Arjuna is really giving good fruits to us. In fact, in those days when Krishna was preaching, it was only one Arjuna. But when now our great acharyas are preaching, there are a number of people who are really interested to know the essence of Gita, are trying to practice it. It's probably elevating the feelings of Lord Krishna. In 13th chapter, Lord Krishna wanted to reveal something about the Prakriti and the soul. Though it was preached earlier in the first Shatka of Bhagavad Gita, that was in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th chapters. After believing in him, after experiencing the universal form of Lord Krishna, Krishna wanted to consolidate the whole preaching, and he wanted to analyze the things and give again to Arjuna. In 13th chapter, he started telling about this body and the indweller soul. He started saying that this body is called a kshetra, in which we grow some plants for fruits or flowers. Depending upon the nature of the soil, as we grow something, depending upon this, upon the nature of this body, we can grow wonderful things. We have so many seeds with us which are called karma bijas, and we have to nurture them in this body, and we have to get good fruits. We have to get good flowers with good fragrance, with good taste. This is useful for that, especially human body. Animal's body is also a kshetra. Body of a bird is also a kshetra. Body of a tree also a kshetra. But the souls in those bodies which we possess with us, the karma seeds, we can sow good seeds, we can reap good yielding also through this. Before doing that, we should know who are we, how are we. So at the beginning of this 13th chapter, Krishna said, you are the kshetrajna. This kshetram is given to you, and you have to make the best use of it. Start doing. But you should remember, you as well as this kshetram also belong to me. I am the owner. Of course, this has been already declared in 7th chapter itself. We people, in spite of knowing so many things, we forget them always. Our great acharyas have preached so many wonderful things to us. Do you think that all those things are just afresh with us? No, we forget so many things. Arjuna already forgot that. So Krishna is retelling the whole thing. This kshetram belongs to me, and kshetrajna also belongs to me, because I am the Seshi and these two are my objects. I possess these two things. I use them and they are under my control. I am indweller of these two. After saying that, Krishna says, Who knows that the soul belongs to me and the kshetram also belongs to me? So if they surrender to me and start doing something, I help them in a way so that they can come up well. All the Vedas, all the Upanishads, all the Brahmasutras, all the great sages, they revealed this in their scriptures, in their preachings, in so many ways. History witnessed this. They record it. All the rishis, rishibhihi, bahudha bhagam. The great grandson of the more authentic Vasishtha, like Parasara, in his scripture Vishnu Purana also revealed the same. Vedavyasa in his Brahma Sutras also revealed the same. And of course, all the Upanishads also witness the same. They reveal the same thing. Some people think that it is my body. I use this because, I am moving the body. In Telugu it is said, Ishwarajna lenide, eegaina kadaradu. Without the command of Lord, even a fly cannot move. But some people say, it appears, false because. And the fifth question was, yet. He asked, how it is, you should know this. This is a component of few things. If we see a car, there are so many things in it. Tires are there, cover is there, doors are there, like that. But ultimately we say it's one car. Like that, even this body also is a component of few things. The moment the soul goes out, all these things will be spoiled, will get spoiled. You cannot make use of this body anymore if the soul is not there. So this is the body, it is sanghata. Use this fairly. You have to know about this body. This is not one. When we are in this body, we say, I am one. But body is not one. It is a sanghatam. Soul is one, body is a component of so many things. And soul is always undisturbed, but the body makes the knowledge of the soul to get disturbances in so many ways. And soul cannot act without body. Soul needs a body even to get released from the bondage of karma. So you need to possess the body, you have to use the body, but you have to use the body in a fair way. Then what happens? You will be released from this body. You get a wonderful place where you can enjoy your own self. You can enjoy the divine self of, divine universal self, God. Krishna explained in brief about the body. Etat kshetram samasena savikaram udahrutam. This is a little about the body. Then Arjuna, you have to know something about the soul. Soul means how to practice in this body. During your lifetime, you have to practice certain things. What are they? Krishna has given a list of 19 things, The first one is amanitvam, and the next one is adambhitvam, then ahimsa, then kshantihi, arjavam. Like that he started describing about those qualities. He said, sacha yaha yat prabhavascha. How he has to practice in this life. How he has to make use of this body. He has given 19 things to practice. And then he has to give about 22 things, 22 details about the greatness of the soul. Sacha yaha yat prabhavascha, the second one. So the prabhava of the soul was described in 22 adjectives. So let really interesting one. It gives the real cause why the body has come, how the body has come. Friends, you must be knowing about, in 4th chapter, Krishna said, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasya. Basing on the Gunam and Karma, the Chaturvarnyam has been created. So many people give different types of description to this sloka. If it is basing on the wisdom and the work he does, then if a person preaches something, we have to call him a Brahmin. If he is in military, we have to call him a Kshatriya. If he does business, we have to say he is a Vaisya. And if he does some sort of service, we have to call him a Sudra. Chaturvarnya means that. Some people say so. But in this 13th chapter, Krishna has given some more details about that particular sloka so that we can understand what that sloka means. Not knowing exactly what that sloka says, that is that Chaturvarnyam sloka, so many people have given different commentaries. But our great acharyas like Ramanujacharya and the great Vedanta Desika have, revealed the real meaning of that particular sloka basing on another sloka which revealed by Lord Krishna in this 13th chapter. Let's try to know about those details, but before that, let's try to understand the 19 ways of practice, how we have to cultivate in this kshetram from tomorrow onwards. Today, we are really honored by the divine presence of our Acharya, which made us to take a little time of yours. And we hope that you bear with us, and we hope that you enjoy this, and we hope that Lord will not take our time from tomorrow onwards and allow us to spend the time that's allotted to have His divine presence with us through Bhagavad Gita. Let us chant the name again and conclude this session. Jai Lakshmi Narayana, Jai Lakshmi Narayana.